Welcome back to Atlantic Blowout. Before we went on that commercial break, I promised to introduce my guest for today's show. On my right, I have Mr. Ofoma Victor. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
And then on my left, I have Mr. Stephen Akrika. Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir. All right. Okay, let's delve right into today's conversation. Nigerian Army's 13th Brigade, in collaboration with the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, has arrested 7 suspected human traffickers in Calabar, Cross River State. This was disclosed in a statement by the Assistant Director, Army Public Relations Headquarters, 13th Brigade Nigerian Army, Major Yemi Sokoya, on Wednesday while attempting to sell a newborn baby. According to the statement, the arrest followed an intelligence-led operation conducted on Wednesday, January 28, 2026, in Calabar Municipality local government area, where troops acted swiftly on the intelligence and carried out a coordinated raid on Glorious Amazing Grace Hospital, located in the Ekpo area of Calabar Municipality. The statement disclosed that the suspects were identified as 54-year-old Glory Emmanuel, 35-year-old Anthony Bassi, 27-year-old Udwak John, and 35-year-old Deborah Edets, as well as 35-year-old Ruth Asoko and 35-year-old Father Donald, all from Cross River State. Also involved is a 23-year-old Blessing Okon from Akwa Ibom State. Following the arrest, the Army said the suspects were transferred to the appropriate authorities for further investigation and necessary legal action in line with the extant laws and established procedures. It further disclosed that the rescued infants had been secured and placed under the care of appropriate authorities. Mr. Ofoma, what does this say about the state of our hospitals, especially when it concerns security? Parents go to hospital hoping to welcome their children, but unfortunately, such corruption is in our healthcare system. What does that say to security in accordance to hospital standards?
Yes, Nigeria, I don't know. Nigeria is like becoming a country with multiple issues, and this is one of it. Most of these things, they are born out of corruption, where the people in charge will just turn their eyes away and allow these things happen. And trafficking of children is a major business in this country, where some of these hospitals are not even registered. They just go get a small place, put women there or girls there, allow men come do anything they like with them, and when they have the children, they sell them and maybe give the mothers peanut and all that. You understand? I mean, it's not that, in some cases, it's not that the law enforcement agents don't know them. At times, they work hand in hand with them. The system is so corrupt such that everybody is thinking of what to get. If I arrest you and you face the law, I gain nothing. But if I let you operate and every month or every time you transact, you're giving me something, I am a beneficiary. I just turn my eyes away and all that. So it's so bad, and it was eating so deep into the system. And thank God, from that axis, we start doing something, and I hope we continue.
Okay, so from what you've said, it means that some of our security personnel are complicit in this human trafficking scam going on in our hospitals, and sometimes even, like you mentioned, uncivilized structures where they have young ladies or young women basically kidnapped and then being forced into childbearing just for the purpose of trafficking the children.
It will shock you to know that some of our security agencies provide backup or security for them. Like I said, if I arrest you and you face the law, I gain nothing. But if I provide backup for you and you're giving me X amount every month, and imagine this thing has been happening over time, 10, 15, 20 years. You see, I wanted to be a police officer or an army personnel when I was growing up. But it entered my head and said, the kind of money I want to make is not there. That's where it's like a doctor. You must love your profession first before the money. But this time around, we go into this thing, they operate under the guise of the uniform. Some of them, there's a place they raided in Bayelsa one time. The place was owned by a police officer's wife.
Oh, wow.
And anytime any IG monitoring squad comes in, normally you're supposed to go to the police headquarters or the nearest police station to identify yourself and say, this is why we're here. And anytime they come, because the man's wife is involved, he gets first-hand information. And they try to give these people money. And these people close their eye to that particular place. Not until something happened and the next side that came did not inform them and took them unawares. And that was that. And when the man was called upon that this thing is happening in your wife's business, he came with that same might and wanted to rake, but these people were not ready to budge. And that was how they were able to arrest those people, and I think they're still facing prosecution. They are still in court till now and all that.
And they are in the same human trafficking business?
Yes, that's what they do. Oh. That's what they do. It's everywhere. In Anambra State, you have the children or baby factory everywhere, where they just bring girls from different villages. I don't know what they tell them. You understand? I mean, in a day like one I watched online once, the small girl was saying in a day she sleeps with like 4, 5, 6, 7 men for peanuts. And when they are pregnant and they put to bed, they sell these children. The owner of the facility sells the children and give them peanuts. I don't know how it all boils down to the corrupt system. Like I said in one of your sister stations recently, the politicians, they've really destroyed the systems. And everybody wants to, okay, what do I stand to get? Not what do I stand to put into the system. That's where most of these things are happening. In civilized countries, it happens, but it's not like this. And when the law enforcement people do their intelligent gathering, there's what we call intelligent gathering. When you get information, you don't just ask. You gather information, then you know when to move in and all that, you know. But these days, you see, they tell you this thing is happening here, and when they try to use money to block it and nothing happens, they get the information, and before the law enforcement people comes, you hear they just left 5 minutes before them. Who gave them information? It's still the corrupt system we're talking about.
Okay. Mr. Akirika, what do you have to say about this? I'm majorly concerned about the women, most of the time it's children or underage children who are involved in this baby making machines just for, you know, the interest of a few individuals, corrupted individuals. What does that say to child protection here in Nigeria?
Okay, Asabil, let's get this straight. According to Achibe affirmed that if you don't know where the rain starts beating you, you will not know where you start getting dry. Now, only by this, the Nigerian milieu, the Nigerian setting is faced with so much themes of abject poverty, alienation, and all these things have engulfed into the system that it now hits more on us. But that, be it as it may, that is not a factor to owe it as a cliche to perpetrate some level of corruption and ill acts. These ladies that are into this, if you ask most of them, they say it's because of the situation of the country and because of so many and their level of information in the society, how they perceive life to be, and that's why they have dived into such menace. But that is not an issue. I believe the government, in their own part, have much to play in this. Like what our analyst here also mentioned, that in most cases, these persons are being apprehended, and you see that it dies off. If the Nigerian system can put in a formidable force whereby these persons that have been apprehended should face the law, absolutely. Not some persons. There's a cliche in quotes on streets that you hear some person say, and I frown about it when you hear somebody say Sanko tested. Sanko tested in the sense that they feel Sanko tested.
Okay.
Sanko tested in the sense that they feel it as as a pride, whereby you just go in there and the next thing you're out. Mind you, if such things occur, you find out that maybe it will just trend for 2-3 days, and after then you see this person's out and they are coming back to do more worse than this. These baby factories are virtually everywhere in the country. The security agencies, they know these things, and even if you try to even report these persons to security agencies, they will even call you for more questioning, and at the end you find out that they will just sweep it behind the carpet. So I believe there should be a level of checks and balance in the system. Checks and balance from these corrupt mushroom hospitals that have seen this kind of thing to be a business, whereby you stage a hall, you stage a house, and you jump pack underage girls and you use them for money making. This level of it should be checkmated, and if such be found, the persons who brought this underage girls should be dealt with strictly, and this underage girls should not be spared, because now you can't tell me that that you were lured into this, and for that reason you're still there, you're enjoying the coffers, the environment of this, and at the end you complain that they're giving the peanuts, for crying out loud. So all these things should be checked by the government officials. All these things should be checked by even the multinationals. It should be a daily routine whereby every hand will be on deck to ensure that these things have been, if not totally eradicated, being curbed. Thank you.
All right. Thank you as well, Mr. Akrika. Back to you, our security consultants. Do you really think that the underage individuals involved in this should be prosecuted as well? Because most of the time they are being deceived into these acts. Maybe they'll be taken from their homes in the village, lied to about being given a better life. They go to wherever this factory is and realize that it's a far cry from what they've been promised. And they have no way of returning back to their homes, either due to threat or, sometimes they may not even know their way around the vicinity because they'll be blindfolded and whatnot. Do you think that when such teenagers or such individuals are rescued, they should be persecuted as well?
Not really, because like what you just said, most of them didn't know what they were going in for when they left. And again, the economic situation of this country, I don't want to use the word is so bad, but it's so well such that most parents cannot feed their children or train their children anymore. You understand? And again, most times you see those from the less privileged home, those that are not really, the family is not really well-to-do, staying in one room. You see the parents, they have 7, 8, 9, 10 children every month. The woman is still breastfeeding and another baby. She's pregnant and she's still breastfeeding, meaning 6 months after, pregnancy has entered again and all that. So there are so many factors to it. At the end of the day, by the time they come, directly or indirectly, most times the parents give them the consent to say, okay, you say you're taking my child from the village to Port Harcourt to work as a help in a place, and they are going to take care of the child and all that. Okay, go. But if the parents just had 1 or 2 that they can take care of, and the economy was good enough, some of these things will not be happening. That being said, the girls, like we've just mentioned, most of them don't know what they're going in for. So when those places are raided, and again, one funny thing is this, like for instance, if this hospital in Lega is situated in a particular place, and there is a nearby police station or whatever around there, you see, you know that when if they change the head, the DPO or whatever, when they bring in new ones, these people will come and pay homage and say our business is here, help us protect, I will be giving you X. They go to pay homage. And most times, the ones you see they arrest, especially when it comes to illegal business in Nigeria, at times when the pressure is on the security, law enforcement people, they just want to use one as a scapegoat. Okay, we'll catch this one. Okay, the press, come on. But they'll close their eyes to 99. Maybe those ones are paying very well. But they just needed to prove to their Oga. And again, when you arrest these people, most times a call comes in from somewhere and say, Oga from above, someone could release them. And that matter dies like that. So it's not the fault of the children. So those children, in a normal environment or normal country where things are working, they're supposed to take those children to the rehabilitate those children, look for something to give them to do. The ones that need to go back to school. I have a friend, I used to have a friend, he's late now. The children were in UK, and one has this anger problem and all that. And the welfare people came and said, tell your husband we need to see him in 2 days. And 2 days after he came, my friend had to fly into UK. And they told him, if you cannot manage your home, we will take the children and adopt them, give them to people that can manage them, and they only give you visiting time to go visit those children. That's the proper what's it called, society where things work. So prosecuting those children, nothing will come out.
Okay.
Because if you need to solve a problem, then you must go to the grassroots. The grassroots is, who are these people? Who's aiding them? How are they financing this thing? How long have they stayed? And why? They need to do that feasibility studies to know how, if you cut a tree from halfway, the tree will come up again. But if you need to pull out the tree, that means you need to go to the roots. So arresting the children is not, because it's not their fault. You understand? Most of them, they say, come, we'll give you a job. Come and learn sewing in the main town. Come and learn this. Come and work as this. And when they come, the story changes. And like he said, they threaten them, and most times they cannot even say. Most times they give them some funny things to drink and say, you've taken oath. If you leave, you will die. Maybe it's just Sprite and, what's it called? Maybe it's one red tonic or something, one red wine. But because it's red and somebody made incantation, that thing will just play at children, maybe 17, 18, maybe at times 12. There was one, the ones we saw once, the girl was like 14, 15. She's done abortion like how many times? Now she's giving birth how many times? At that age and all that. So arresting them. And our correctional center these days is not, it's not really, it's nothing to write home about if you ask me. There was this case of people leaving Warri Correctional Center to operate in Benin as kidnappers and armed robbers, and they come back to Warri. Who let them go? How did they? There are executive places in the correctional center. Look at the case of Bobrisky. Today we don't know whether he stayed in the men's cell or female cell or what's it called, a lodge or something. So our correctional center. So most people you take to correctional center, they become worse when you bring them out. By the time you bring them out, those there will say, when you're going, when you get to Rumokoro, ask for Janelle, ask for Jennifer, ask for this. She'll put you through. They'll be making money. Some get, even while they're still in prison, they get their dividends. They still, oh God, we don't send your own. No. They're still working for them. So it's not, our correctional center is not really correcting anything these days. So why not rehab them and send them back into the society?
Okay. Moving on. Senate will hold an executive briefing over the December 25th United States airstrikes on terrorist targets in Sokoto State. The move followed issues raised by Senator Abdul Ningi, who said the U.S. action was wrong. He also accused the authorities of excluding the National Assembly from discussion concerning the Sokoto operation. Recalls that the U.S. carried out airstrikes on December 25, 2025 in coordination with Nigerian authorities, targeting camps linked to the Islamic State group in Sokoto. Raising the issue under the Order 42, Matters of Privileged, during plenary, Senator Ningi, PDP Bauchi Central, argued that the airstrikes amounted to an infringement on Nigerian territorial integrity. He added that the strikes should have involved legislative oversight. Ningi maintained that the National Assembly, constitutionally mandated to play a role in matters of national security and foreign military engagements, was not consulted before the strikes were carried out. Back to you, Mr. Ofoma. I mean, this is more in your line of work. We do understand territorial integrity, but the federal government came out and said that the operations was in collaboration with the Nigerian government. Now, this, the Senate is coming out, one of the senators is coming out to say that the National Assembly was not consulted. They were not informed ahead of time before these airstrikes. We woke up and then we found out on the 25th of December that U.S. had gone through with their, threats to invade Nigeria and then carry out strikes on terrorism or on terrorists, against Christian brutality in the northern state of Nigeria. What do you have to say about this?
The Senate, ask the same senators speaking now, that what have the Senate done before now in the midst of this insecurity happening all over? These boys there, or these terrorists, they've taken over a lot of territories, even till tomorrow. These same people use them for election purposes. There was this story then when the Chibok girls issue happened, and America said they were going to come. They did their area survey and everything, their surveillance. And America claimed to know where those Chibok girls were, and they said they were going to come. They discussed with Nigerian government, including the Senate, that they were going to come in, gas up the place. And when those people fall asleep, they will take the Chibok girls, rescue them, then whatever you want to do. Ask me what happened. By the time American came to do their area survey, the day they said they wanted to go, all the terrorists in that couple were wearing masks, gas masks. Who gave them? Who told them? How did they get the information? Who supplied them the gas masks? Today, the terrorists, they even use drones. The technology behind drones, imagine one guy that has not left his community using drones. Who brought the drones in? Who gave it to them? Who taught them how to use it? So when it comes to security, everything is not open. Some operation has to be covert. Covert is meaning it has to be secret to an extent.
Yeah, but in this instances, it's okay for covert operations if it's in the U.S. territory, right? But this is an institution. Nigeria is a federal government on its own. It's mandated that out of courtesy, U.S. should at least consult with the Nigerian government. And then they, on their part, were supposed to have that discussion with the National Assembly before allowing such a strike of its magnitude to happen.
The coup they had in Benin Republic recently, the Nigerian government, the presidency did not seek Senate approval before they responded. It was after they responded, they now wrote to the Senate that we did this because of the time limit. Yes, you say U.S. is not their territory and all that, but after the last, what's it called now, census they did in Nigeria, they said we're 180 million. Now we should be getting close to 300 million. If there's a major crisis in Nigeria, no country will accommodate us. The whole of Africa, where are we going to run to? Is it Ghana? Where are we going to run to? So at times when things like that happen, we should be glad that the government of the day said they were informed. We know about it. You understand? But they don't need to make it open, because if it goes open again, many times it has happened severally. Kogi state government bombed one of the camps recently, militant camp. But when they got there, there was nobody. They've moved. Who told them they were coming in that day? They only left some arms and ammunition for them to pick and all that. So there are some serious matters you don't make open, not until you've done it. As a family man or as an individual, there are things you want to do. You might not want to tell anybody before it is done. It is when you're done, you could say, you've not seen me for 2 days. I've been here because I was. So I don't see anything wrong in U.S. coming to. They are playing the role of the big brother. It's not only in Nigeria, everywhere. Okay, they've left the whole of the north. It's not safe anymore. And it's spilling over now to Edo State. It's spilling over everywhere. It's spilling over. Recently, there was this bomb threat in Lagos that they wrote to schools and said, we're going to bomb you people in this weekend. So if you allow these things continue like that, in the next few years, there will be no Nigeria. Turkey was once a Christian nation. But look at what is happening there, because people turned their eyes away. Now you cannot even openly say you're a Christian in Turkey anymore. Most of this Arab world, before they were Christian nation or partly Christian nation, but because of these things. And you see, the Arab, they said something when they took back Afghanistan, when US finally left. They said if they want something, they are ready to wait for years. If they want to fully, I don't want to use the word Islamize Nigeria, but if that's what they want to do, they are ready to wait for 30, 40 years to accomplish their goals. And they don't just come in once. They test their might here and there. You understand? So what US did, if you ask me, they should come do more for us, because it's still happening. You hear they kidnapped 300 children, and they are moving them from here to like Delta states by road, on foot, or on their, most of them they trek and all that. So they will pass many, many communities to get to their camp, and nobody is talking. Are there no police checkpoints along those lines? Are there no army checkpoints along those lines? Why? How did they go through? How would they? And you hear today, you say it happened at Opibo, for instance, and tomorrow it's happening at water lines and all that. Is there no? They know what is happening. So what US did, if you ask me, I thought they were even going to do more. You understand?
Okay, back to you, Mr. Akrika. What do you have to say about this? Do you think the Senate should have been notified before the U.S. airstrike? And also, according to Mr. Ofuama, the reason might be because some of these leaders are complicit in the terrorism acts. So, just for the sake of the protection of the people there, it's sometimes understandable for covert operations to be carried out. But still, does that not undermine Nigerians' sovereignty?
Okay. Let's get this straight. From this perspective, if the Senate says they needed to be what? To be pre-informed before this, the senators not also aware that these things have been going on for years, and they've done nothing concerning this. So now you're waiting for a letter of what? Of information that they want to come out with. Now, in security issues, there are some things you don't pre-inform issues. Like for instance, if I'm informed that that there's going to be an accident, I won't come to ATM today. So that's the part. So these I'm so happy. I'm in similitude with what the US officials have done. In fact, I'm also applauding them, and I'm praying for them to do more, because the insecurity in the north is becoming unbearable. Owning up, years back, I was supposed to serve in Borno State, in NYC. But do you know that we can't in Katsina State? Even in Katsina State, I met a military man, a top military man. He said that his mom is from Borno State, but he cannot go to Borno State, even with his arm, with his uniform and arm. He says the day they will send him to Borno State, that is the day he's going to is leaving the army. Is resigning. So that's the level. Then I sitting with him, we were saying this, and I asked myself, I said, if this man is a northerner, and he says he will not go to Borno State, how about me? I'm just a youth. He's from the south. Will I go there? So then, and most of us in that camp there, almost all of us were redeployed to different states. That's to tell you the level of the insecurity in this place. So the US, I'm even frowning at the Nigerian senators for playing politics to things that pertain life. They should not wait for an information. If holistically they are purely in affirmation of these insecurity issues, they should own up and support the US Army to ensure that these whole insecurity issues is able to be. Now, let's say for instance, if these insecurity issues happen at the Senate, will they be alarming the US that where would they come from? No, they will not. So everything. My concern and my annoyance in the Nigerian milieu is that we play politics with everything, even to our lives. We play politics. No, there's some things we shouldn't play politics. We should not romance all issues.
Okay. All right. Let's move on quickly to the next story. Two officials of the Federal Capital Territory Administration Workers' Joint Union Action Committee on Wednesday approached the Court of Appeal in Abuja, seeking leave to challenge an interlocutory ruling of the National Industrial Court delivered on Tuesday. The applicants, Rifkatu Loteya, President of JOAC, and Abdullahi Saleh, Secretary General, filed a notice of motion before the Abuja Judicial Division of the Court of Appeal. FCTA workers under JOAC had embarked on an indefinite strike on January 19th over unresolved welfare issues, following an application by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. The National Industrial Court issued an interlocutory injunction halting the strike. The order was granted by Justice A.D. Subilim on January 21st. On Tuesday, the court ordered the striking workers to suspend their industrial action and return to work, despite claims by the unions that their demands had not been met. The court also adjourned the matter to March 25, 2026 for further hearing. Mr. Ofoma, 14 out of 16 demands, according to the Federal Capital Minister, has been met. He has even released some amount of money to ensure the payment of, some of these demands that were made. However, we're still seeing stories of, we're still seeing some members or some heads of the union still demanding for more and asking the courts to, override the industrial court's strike appeal, to have them return back to the street or have them back to striking against, what they feel has not been met, demands that have not been met. What do you have to say about this? Do you think they are demanding for too much, especially when the economy of Nigeria, especially the FCT, is at stake?
If you see, it's a pity what's happening in this country. But things like this, you look at it from two angles. Like I have a close friend, he's a senior, I don't know what they call them in the local government, very senior next to the chairman. If the chairman is not there, he's the one acting, he's the most senior civil servant in the local government. A very close friend, and sometimes when I visit him, I cry for what he says. It's not that, what's it called, their demands are not right. The things are expensive, rent, they keep moving rent. The house is built for like how many years? Landlord keeps shifting the goalpost every day. And when this country, yes, we need to care for them, we need to meet their demands and all that. But another thing, ask yourself, civil servants, how many of them comes to work on a daily basis? I was to give them this clocking machine, where you clock in with your face or your finger and all that. Why? Because my friend complained and said, the cleaner in the office, if you check the manual register, the cleaner in the office, it is her signature or one handwriting that is signing for everybody.
Oh.
Write my initials, just write sign on behalf of closing time, you sign again. And my friend said, the person that is supposed to be like his own direct secretary, he has not seen that person for 2 years. And we now said, okay, let's get this clock-in machine. So you must come to clock in, clock out. Nobody can do it for you and all that. He moved it to the local government chairman. Days after, I was called upon and said, local government chairman said, if we implement this, head go roll. Meaning, our guys from above will call and say, because if you implement this, it means you're going to maybe sack some people, maybe you stop paying some people or cut some people's salary and all that. And chairman said, if he does this, they will call him from government house and some other place and say, hey, that thing you're doing, don't try it. So most times, when they cry pension, railway pension, pensioners are not being paid, this one are not being paid, ask yourself, that man should be fair to his conscience. In that 15, 20 years he was supposed to be working, how many, put the years, the days together, and how many years did he come to work?
But that means that our leaders are in bed with them when it comes to...
It's a way of, settling people. Just most times, you just put them there, go and sit down, no table, no chair. Go to some offices, there is no table, there are no tables, there are no chairs for years. Nowhere to even sit, nothing, no broom to sweep. And this person has been a cleaner for 10, 15 years. So what is, he just come and sit around. You see them, if you go to this FCT council and all that, you see them sitting under the tree. This thing, what happened yesterday, how many people that happened, and all that. You understand? That's on one hand. But the few that works, you understand? If there's a work payment, they deserve, you don't even wait for them to go on strike. You don't wait for them to go on strike. You can't be building roads, you can't be, thank God for the roads and all that. But human welfare is more important. You need to stay alive to ply those roads. You understand? And if, okay, now, you're being paid 70,000. I think that's the minimum wage. And how much is Panadol now? One pack. Panadol used to be like 100 naira before now. I think it's about how many thousand now and all that. So how many of that are you going to buy after paying your rent, paying your transport and all? Transportation has increased everywhere, we know. Even the Uber and all that, they've increased. So the workers, they need, if they need it, and you sit down and, okay, see, for now, this is what we can give. But what the government does is, after promising them, okay, you have 15 demands, 100 demands, let's do 20 now. Next 3-4 months, we do another 20, and like that, and we'll get it done with after a short while. After the first 20, everybody just go to sleep and say, I beg, don't disturb anybody. So the government should try and keep to their promises, make sure the workers, the active ones, are well taken care of. That's what I feel.
Okay. Mr. Akrika, it's come to our notice, thanks to our security consultants, that some of these workers in public service do not even go to work, but they expect to be paid at the end of the month. And we also have some genuine workers who stick to their responsibilities and then offer their off. How do we root out, you know, the bad eggs from the good eggs? He also mentioned that they came up with some devices to ensure that you have to clock in, you know, automatically your fingerprints, which cannot be copied, which cannot be overridden or anything. But again, we're still fighting against it. That means that we have systematic corruption in our system. Some of these fellows are in bed or working hand in hand with some of the government officials, and then they are still supposed to pay those people. So it becomes a tug of war. I put you in that position. I know you're not doing the work, but you're expecting me to pay you. We have an understanding. But now, if the money is not coming in, why are you coming out to tell the public that I'm not paying you for a job you know you're not doing? Meanwhile, we have some active workers who are working very, very well. But due to some of these bad eggs, they are suffering. And also, the public that are meant to be served will not also get the services. Their hard-paid taxes should be useful. So what do you have to say about this?
Okay, Sabina, let's get this. The major concern here is checks and balance. Checks and balance from in all strata. Okay, let's say from the FCT minister and down to people who are holding public offices. Now, if you're the employer should firstly be fully involved in checks and balance. Now, I can't say my property and I have a property or I have a firm and I have some workers, they don't come to work and I'm paying them. No, in the private firm, it is not being done. So the same manner at which we handle in our private firm, we should also unleash that to what? To the public services. So these PAMSECs and local government administrators, they should be concerned in checks and balance. These persons I'm paying them, are they really coming to work? That's on one part. Then on the other part is that because once you know that these persons are not coming to work, you will know on how to what, on how to follow them. Now, I'll put this to you. I'm not really a fan when it comes to approach to politics and all that. But I applaud the local government chairman of the Ubepo, what he did in Rumokoro. If you go to Rumokoro and I'm talking to you, the place is very well sanitized. In fact, you can be driving on your chair and you slip up and everywhere is clear. That road is now, he expanded the road and motorists, those persons that were selling at the roadside now, they are no more there. I applaud him. I'm a person that if he wants to do things right, I applaud you despite your particular affirmations and all that. So that's that. Now, these workers now that are working, you've not done any checks and balance on them. You're not concerned if they come to work or not. And what you do is that you pay both workers and ghost workers at your leisure. Now, because in terms of this, holistically, let me tell you the truth. When it comes to strike, those ghost workers, they are the ones that will even push mainly for strike. Yes, those ones that don't come to work because they have the energy, because they've been staying at home, they have the energy for strike. But the ones that are diligent in their work, they don't even have that time. Before they go to rest. But if the system is well sanitized, all these things will be coped. And secondly, on the other part, I found at what is really happening in Nigeria. You can't beat a child and tell the child not to cry. Now, these too many injunctions on what strike, it is barbaric. It happens nowhere in the world. Strike is a norm. Workers have the right to
norm
to
even
strike.
when it's disrupting the economic activities of a state?
Economic activities on what ground?
I mean, 12 billion has been released for the workers' welfare. That means that the government is committed to ensuring that their demands are met. Are they not supposed to give
now let's get it from this part.
For that to happen?
Now, the 12 billion naira, is it coming from the part of the workers that are they affirming it, or is the government that is telling us? No, let's get this in straight. Okay, I came on an air. I will tell you this for free. It happened in my local government. When I was doing my master's program at the university, our local government chairman, today as I'm talking to you, came on air and announced that...
Please don't mention...
No, I'm not mentioning the local government. Yes, I'm on air. He came on air to say that he wants to pay, that everybody should send their bank details, that he wants to pay a open sum of 300,000 to all postgraduate students from PGT down to PhD. And everybody sent their documents. As I'm talking to you, till date, a dime have not been sent. And so many persons made photocopies. So many persons paid transport down from town down to the village to ensure that all these things were being done. But on air, the world have come to know that this is the process ongoing. But he did not do anything. So all these things are now from the part of the masses. If the masses come out to say, okay, that so these affirmations, this local government chairman said that he did not do it. That's fine. Now, the government on their own part said they've released an X amount of billion for the welfare. The welfare, is he really getting to what? To the workers? Have they received it? So these are the part that we should what? We should stick to. Now, the reoccurrence of strike, it is disheartening. In a country whereby at every look and cranny, in fact, every week, you hear if the health sector are not going on strike, ASU is going on strike, SAN is going on strike, primary school boards are going on strike, strikes everywhere. So the government should see on how do we streamline this to what? In order whereby to be convenient for everybody. Okay. But ensure that the cost of living, first of all, you bring down the cost of living. You cannot tell me that that because you're paying me, if I'm working in the government sector, you're paying me 70,000 naira, and a one-room apartment in where I'm living is 200,000. I'm talking about one room, not self-contained. Self-contained, some places is 500, 700,000. And you're telling me that because you increase the minimum wage from 30,000 to 70,000, that I should not protest. No. Or the transportation fare, where before I was paying 15 naira down, now I'm paying 500 naira, and you say because you've increased. No. So if there should be level of checks and balance. There should be a stand in this. Okay, the price of commodities should not exceed this level. The price of transportation, as I'm talking to you, within where we are, nobody have knowledge of transportation in Nigeria. It is based on negotiation. Okay. You cannot come out from your house and say, okay, my calculation, I'm going to X venue with this amount. No, you will come there, you dialogue for as short as this, because you may end up being embarrassed. So these are the things that should be what? Should be streamlined. These are the things that should be set in place. So for you, when you're, in case any of government officials is coming on air to say they should be putting an injunction on strike, let's know that you have settled this. And let's see a blueprint from the account of this welfare. Show us it. Let's see that all the workers, these are the amount we pay to them individually. Okay. The system should have our database, our kind of database, and not for reduction of funds. Thank you. Okay.
Moving on. Nigerian police force has uncovered a 7.7 billion naira cyber-enabled telecommunication fraud involving the illegal diversion of airtime and data resources, arresting 6 suspects linked to the scheme. The arrest followed an investigation by the Nigerian Police Force National Cybercrime Center after a telecommunications firm petitioned the police over suspicious and unauthorized activities detected within its billing and payment system. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the Force Public Relations Officer, Force Headquarters, Abuja, ACP Benjamin Hudeyin said investigations revealed that the internal staff login credentials had been compromised, granting unauthorized access to the company's core infrastructure. According to the police, the syndicate exploited the breach to divert airtime and data resources, leading to an estimated financial loss exceeding 7.7 billion. Hudeyin said coordinated enforcement operations were carried out in October 2025 across Kano and Katsina State, with a follow-up arrest in the Federal Capital Territory. He disclosed that the 6 suspects, Ahmed Bala, Garibu Mohammed Shehu, Umar Habib, Obina Ananaba, and Ibrahim Shehu, were apprehended during the operations. Items recovered from the suspects include 2 residential houses in Kano, 2 mini plazas, GSM and laptop retail outlets housing over 400 laptops and 1,000 mobile phones, as well as a Toyota RAV4 vehicle, all alleged to be proceeds of the crime. Just wow. We complain as individuals that our telecommunications are not performing like they should, that we pay this X amount of money for our airtime and data and it's expensive. Sometimes we don't even get to utilize that properly to our advantage. But we also have some individuals also taking advantage of these telecommunications. 7.7 billion naira in losses to this telecommunication. I mean, they are there to do business. Before we talk about the integrity of our government, we as a people, what does that say to us? What does that say about us?
Like I said initially, what is happening in this country is as a result of the breakdown of a lot of systems, starting from the governance parts. There's this get-rich syndrome, get-big syndrome. Everybody wants to make money. Everybody, even in religious places now, worship places, they don't just accept you for who you are. They want to like, what's this guy? What can this guy offer? We heard recently a pastor saying he can never associate himself with a poor pastor. So that's the standard. In your family now, everybody wants to, nobody cares where you're. In my place now, in my place where I'm from, you see children going to build houses for their parents, and the parents are not bothered. Where is this money coming from? In our time, if anything you buy, you must explain. You must explain. If you can't explain, that thing cannot come to your house because your mom will not allow you. I've seen a situation where a girl going to one of these polytechnics, she's almost like the breadwinner of her house. A girl of like 17 years. The parents will call. We've not eaten this morning.
17 years?
Yes, your younger sister, the younger ones have not gone to school. They've not paid school fees. And when she comes around, the way they drag her bag, Momsy is dragging her bag to remove money. The younger ones want money and all that. You've not asked yourself where she's making the money from, a girl that is supposed to be in school. So it's a sum total of the decay of the society. When you keep taking when one man keeps taking what belongs to the masses will respond in diverse ways. Some have the fear of God. Some have that fear of God. I'd rather die than to take what does not belong to me. But some will like, no, these politicians are stealing their own. Why won't I take my own? Why will I not do this? Why won't I do that? The root cause is still the world. From your house, from your room, from your phone, from your tablet. You can do whatever you want to do. They are smart. Abroad, like these people they are arrested in foreign countries, they'll bring them, they don't just prosecute them. They don't just come to the media and say, we've arrested these people. No. If they need to get court injunction to get the right to keep them, the more. You understand? Because ideally, you're not supposed to keep a suspect more than 48 hours. Hey, court, there's a lot we need to know. We need to get from these people. So allow us keep them for another 1 month. Oh boy, sit down. How do people do this? Come and teach us. Somebody said, one of these big influencers said, they hacked into his account and they made away with a lot of money. And somehow, they arrested the people. And he told the law enforcement people, don't send them to jail, don't prosecute them. Don't
I think that was it B-Lord also.
Don't put it in the news. You understand? Rather, let them come, I will employ them to help. The idle mind is the devil's workshop. Things that are happening these days, everybody. Now, your landlord will just from nowhere move your rent from 400 to 2 million naira and tell you if you don't want to pay park. And if you say you're parking, the next place you want to park to, they tell you you're paying 4 million naira. Where do you get the money from? You come, you're here now working, and maybe after the studio, the section, you get a message from your dad. I was arrested recently in Lagos. She was working in the one Bureau de Exchange. And some people dollars to those people. And when they left, that was when everything, the scale fell off her eyes. Her friends started laughing her. Her friends started mocking her. You understand? They go do 30,000 naira work. I say, come do, they do our normal fast money and all that. You understand? So the society is corrupt. So that's why you see a lot of these things happening. Everybody. I settled an issue recently, sometime last year. A boy of 17 years old, I'll be 18, that was brought up in the church environment. He just gained admission at that age. Told the parents one day that he wants to stop collecting money from the parents. Are the parents complaining? Are the parents complaining? No. But I don't want to collect. I want to make money my own. How? And I told the parents to like, okay, step aside, let me come in. Oh, but how far? What's happening? From what he said, his friends are making money of that age. This quick money. And they buy him things, and they show him wealth, and they put him under pressure. That is, a boy of 17, 18, 19 is using iPhone 17 Pro Max and all that. Where did you get 4 million naira from? You understand? And your parents, most times, when your transport is maybe 1,000 naira to school and back, they just, maybe sometimes they manage to give you 1,002 and say, use the 200 naira to get something to eat in school. But meanwhile, your mates are showing this thing. Your mind wants to be there and all that. So the corrupt society we find ourselves, we're gradually losing a generation. We're gradually, I was small in Lagos when they did Ghana Must Go. You understand? But today, Ghana people, they are doing Nigeria Must Go. So I don't know what has happened.
Okay.
It's the greed. If you ask me, everything still boils back to the greed of our politicians.
Okay.
Because when you embezzle the money that is meant for education, for road, for everything and all that, the result is these things you see. You understand? And most of them, they have shares in all these telecoms company. That's why when they increase price, nobody's talking. When they increase tariff, nobody's talking. When DXTV increase their own, nobody's talking, because most of today here, the senators invite DXTV to come and explain why they're increasing this. And the next 2 weeks, you're not hearing anything, and that same thing will still happen. Okay. So this is a result of the decay society. God help us. God help us.
Mr. Okika, quickly, they say the government is a reflection of its people. In this instance, would you say that is true?
Okay, to understand, now, what the government have made some levels, I want to ask a question. After maybe apprehending these persons or maybe selling these properties, what next? What do they do with those properties? What do they do with those properties? Now, so that's the part that most of the time when they see these properties, we think that most of these security agencies, they connive and they convert these properties to their living homes and all that, because you cannot see these properties like coming on air. How many properties have been seized in Nigeria for the past 5 years? You cannot give account of them. And these properties, in a civilized, in the Western world, these properties when seized should be changed or maybe used for maybe healthcare services, schools, and all that. But in the Nigerian situation, no. You just see a news cliche on the air that property X have been seized based on crime, and the next thing you don't hear anything about those properties. After 2-3 weeks, they have been used. So that's on one part. On the other part is that the Nigerian government should see how we can harness negative waste to positive usage. Like I said, if these boys are into this and are smart into this, why not draw them to the system? I watch those days in our attempt to join the Nigerian army and the police. They said you must get to a certain height for you for you to be
eligible.
Yes. Now, but on that part, I also in my own little way, I noticed. Okay, now the man who is tall, before he gets down to pick what's on the floor. The short man has picked it, and the short man before he gets what is up, the tall man has also taken it. Why not balance it? You employ these short persons. And use them for issues that concern anything that has to do with maybe some narrow parts that you want them to navigate into. These short policemen, these short law enforcement agents can scale their way through. Why the tall men could go for arrest and all that. So By so doing, you balance them. Over to this, I brought this as a what? As a look towards this now. These boys that you've seen, you should what? Bring them to the to the page. Oh, you're good at this. Now you're going to use all your strength to work for the government. You compel them to work for the government. So their synergy, their experience, everything now, they will use it to work for the government. We've arrested your arrest is that you work for the government, you be on the payroll of the government, you convert the negative waste to a positive waste. Now they are now working for the government. Not that you take them to what, maybe you take them to detention for 2 days, you collect 5 million naira from them, and you're letting them to the street. They will go back to ensure that the 5 million naira or the 5,000 or the 500,000 that they use in bailing themselves, they will get it back from the society times 10. So that means we're even doing more harm to the society, because if these guys have been brought to this, the government was supposed to what? Maybe to persecute me, and they did not, and they made me, and they dragged me closer. Maybe you give them an ID card. They will work holistically for the government, and they will make the work simpler, smarter, and faster.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Akrika. This is where we wrap it up on this episode of Blowout. Thank you very much, Mr. Okomat, for coming to the studio today. I really appreciate your take on some of these conversation topic.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Mr. Akrika, thank you once again.
Thank you.
All right. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. My name is Antonia Asable. Up next is Open Conversation. Please stay tuned.